And Tom, this was only the first day. We have, I think, about 6 or 7 days left in the Congress. What did we learn? We know that there's a president that wants to reinforce his position, his power, and kind of lay out a broad vision.
Yeah, it was, and it was a broad, sweeping vision, and it was a vision of a China that is more confident and more ambitious domestically, but on the international stage as well. And some of the key economic points that you mentioned that he flagged as well, in terms of the real estate sector, for example, saying that the housing market isn't just for speculation, it's for living in. And this real estate sector has been a key hot point for analysts here and for, of course, people resident in cities like Beijing and Shanghai. They put curbs in place. Those curbs could well continue then on the back of this. State-owned enterprise reform. He said he wanted to see bigger, stronger role for state-owned enterprises. Question marks then as to what that means for the private sector. He said he wanted to see a rebalancing, greater quality growth rather than necessarily faster growth. What he did subtly was drop a mention in a previous speech back in 2012 to a pledge to double GDP by 2020. That wasn't mentioned this time, but this is a vision, an ambitious vision, framework for the next 5 years under the guidance of President Xi, of course, one of the strongest leaders now in China that we've had in generations.
Tom, all of us at gunpoint have had to read McGregor's The Party, the classic book on sort of the history of the party through time. Where does Xi fit into that book? Where does Xi fit in to the path of Chinese leadership?
Well, in that book, they talk about the red phones being on the desks of the state-owned enterprise bosses, linked up, of course, to Zhongnanhai, the leadership compound. Well, that probably hasn't changed. In fact, we're seeing a greater role for the party, not just in the state-run businesses, but in private companies as well. We've heard about joint ventures here. Foreign companies and Chinese companies, they're being told they have to set up Communist Party committees inside those joint ventures. We've seen reports, for example, that the Communist Party, the state, may be looking to buy stakes in the likes of Tencent or Alibaba or Baidu. There is a greater focus in terms of the party pushing its tentacles into the private sector and bolstering the state sector. And that is a theme that many expect to continue for the next 5 years under President Xi, who's rewritten the rules around the party in some degrees because he's gotten rid of the collective leadership. He is the sole leader and he's in charge of many areas, all the crucial areas of the economy, certainly.